Welcome to Histosleep, a place where every gentle sound guides you toward peace, and every moment helps you drift into deep, restful sleep. I'm so glad you've joined me tonight. Dear listener, settle in now. Take a moment to notice where you are, the surface beneath you, the way your body is being held without effort. Let your shoulders soften. Let your jaw loosen. There is nothing you need to do right now, and nowhere you need to go. If the day has followed you into this moment, that is all right. You do not need to push it away. Simply allow it to quiet itself, the way a room grows calmer when voices fade. Begin by breathing in gently through your nose and breathing out slowly through your mouth. Again, breathing in and breathing out. With every exhale, imagine the air carrying away a little of the weight you have been holding. Your breath becomes slower, deeper, more natural. If it feels good, allow your eyes to close. If they are already closed, let them rest even more heavily now. You might imagine a soft evening breeze moving through the room, or the distant rustle of leaves outside a window. Maybe there is a familiar sound nearby, a fan humming, a house settling, a clock marking time without urgency. Each sound is allowed. Each sound helps you sink a little deeper. Your body knows how to relax. Tonight, you are simply giving it permission. Now, as your breathing finds its own quiet rhythm, our story today begins. Our story today begins at the edge of a small village where stone cottages sit close together and warm light spills softly from their windows at dusk. The village rests in a gentle valley, cradled by hills that rise slowly and patiently toward the sky. Just beyond the final cottage, where the worn path narrows and the sounds of daily life begin to fade, there is a trail that curves into the hills. It is not marked. It does not call attention to itself. It simply waits for those who need it. Tonight, we share a peaceful folk tale about a woman named Ella and a lake hidden deep within those hills, just beyond the edge of her village. The lake was known by many names, but most often it was called the Lake That Listens. This story was passed down through generations of quiet voices, told on nights when rest felt far away. It was never meant to teach a lesson or offer answers. It was simply meant to help tired hearts soften. Ella had known of the lake since childhood. She remembered her mother's hand wrapped warmly around her own, guiding her along the path at dusk. The sky had been painted with soft purples and fading golds. Crickets had begun their evening song. And when the trees finally opened into a clearing, the lake lay before them, perfectly still. Even then, as a child, Ella sensed something different about that water. It did not rush. It did not shimmer for attention. It rested as if it understood the value of stillness. Years passed as years do. Now grown, Ella returned alone. She walked slowly, letting the sounds of the village fade behind her. With each step, her breathing deepened. The air grew cooler. The path softened beneath her feet. Leaves whispered overhead, brushing against one another in quiet conversation. By the time the trees opened into the clearing once more, the world felt gentler somehow, quieter, slower. The lake waited. Ella sat at its edge, her feet resting on cool stone. The surface of the water was smooth and dark, reflecting the moon as it climbed higher into the sky. The lake did not sparkle or shift. It did not demand her attention. It simply allowed her to be there. She breathed in, she breathed out. Thoughts arrived, as they always do. Small ones, heavy ones, half-formed worries and old memories. But the lake held them without judgment. One by one, they softened, like ripples dissolving back into stillness. Ella stayed until the moon rose higher, until her shoulders lowered and her body remembered how to rest. And if you notice your own body responding now, perhaps your breathing slowing, your limbs feeling heavier, that is exactly as it should be. If these quiet tales are helping you drift off, a gentle like or a silent subscribe would mean the world. It helps this sleepy corner of the internet reach others who need a little calm too. I always wonder, where in the world are you listening from right now? If you're still awake, leave a whisper of a comment. Maybe your city and the time on your clock. It's a beautiful thing, this quiet little global gathering, all connected through stories and stillness. Now, let's set the mood, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and get comfortable. Take another slow breath in and let it go. Ella did not rush to stand. There was no signal telling her when to leave. The lake never hurried anyone along. It seemed to understand that stillness unfolds at its own pace. A gentle breeze moved across the clearing, stirring the tops of the grasses and brushing softly against Ella's skin. It carried the scent of damp earth and distant pine. Somewhere nearby, an owl called once, then settled back into silence. Ella shifted slightly, settling more comfortably on the smooth stone. She let her hands rest loosely in her lap. Her breathing had grown slow now, almost effortless. Each inhale felt cooler and clearer. Each exhale felt warm and unburdened. The lake listened. It listened not only to Ella's thoughts, but to the quiet spaces between them. It listened to the way her body softened as tension slipped away. It listened to the steady rhythm of her heart beating calmly in her chest. If you imagine the lake now, perhaps you can see it too. The moonlight stretching across its surface like silk, the shoreline curving gently around it. protective and kind. The hills standing watch in the distance, dark and unmovable. Nothing here is sharp. Nothing here asks anything of you. Ella closed her eyes for a moment, feeling the cool night air on her face. Memories drifted through her mind, not demanding attention, simply passing by. A childhood laugh, the warmth of a hearth on winter nights, the sound of her mother's voice telling this very story long ago. The lake held those memories just as it held everything else. When Ella opened her eyes again, she noticed how the water seemed deeper than before. Not darker, just deeper, as if it stretched far beyond what could be seen, carrying layers of quiet collected over centuries. The villagers believed the lake remembered every person who had ever rested beside it. They said it carried their tiredness gently downward, storing it somewhere safe, somewhere it could do no harm. Ella found comfort in that thought. She leaned back slightly, supporting herself on her hands, and let her gaze drift up to the sky. Stars had begun to appear, one by one, scattered across the darkness. They reflected faintly in the water below, blurring the line between sky and lake. Time became difficult to measure, and if, as you listen, you find your thoughts beginning to wander, that is perfectly fine. You do not need to follow every word. You can let the sound of my voice become part of the background, like the lake itself, steady and reassuring. Ella noticed her body growing heavier, pleasantly so, the kind of heaviness that comes just before sleep, when muscles finally let go of their long-held effort. She imagined the lake drawing that weight away from her, not pulling, just receiving. Her feet pressed gently against the stone at the water's edge. Coolness seeped upward, grounding and calming. She flexed her toes once, then let them relax completely. The breeze moved again, stirring the leaves overhead. They whispered softly to one another, a sound so gentle it barely registered as sound at all. Ella's breathing matched the rhythm of the night now, slow, deep, even. She remembered something her mother once said, sitting beside this same lake years ago. She had said that the lake never keeps what is given to it forever. It only holds it until it is no longer needed. Ella smiled faintly at the memory. She wondered how many worries had been set down here over the years. How many tired souls had come seeking nothing more than a moment of peace. The lake had welcomed them all, without question, without judgment. Eventually, Ella felt the quiet shift around her, not in a way that startled her, more like a gentle cue, a sense that she had received exactly what she came for. She stood slowly, brushing her hands against her clothes. The cool night air wrapped around her like a familiar shawl. She took one last look at the lake, its surface smooth and unbroken. It looked exactly as it had when she arrived. listening, patient, unchanged. Ella turned back toward the path, her steps unhurried. The trees parted to let her pass, their branches arching overhead. The path seemed softer now, as if it recognized her lighter stride. As she walked, she noticed how quiet her thoughts had become. Not empty, just spacious. There was room to breathe. Behind her, the lake remained, holding the clearing in its calm embrace. Ahead, the faint glow of village lights appeared between the trees, windows lit with warm amber light, chimneys releasing thin trails of smoke into the night air. The village slept, wrapped in its own quiet rhythm. Ella felt a deep sense of belonging as she approached, a knowing that she did not need to carry everything alone. She reached her cottage and stepped inside, closing the door gently behind her. The familiar scent of wood and ash greeted her. She tended the hearth. The crackle of burning logs filled the room, low and comforting. Ella settled into her chair, letting the warmth soak into her bones. She rested her head back and closed her eyes, feeling the lake's stillness lingering within her. If you imagine this moment now, you might feel it too. The quiet after a long day, the safety of being indoors. The gentle warmth spreads slowly through your body. You are allowed to rest here. Ella did not stay awake long. Sleep found her easily, wrapping around her like a well-worn blanket. Her breathing deepened, her thoughts drifted. The day slipped fully away, and somewhere beyond the hills, the lake continued to listen, listening to the wind, listening to anyone who needed its quiet. As this part of the story settles, you may notice your own body growing heavier still, your eyelids resting comfortably. Your breathing is slow and steady. There is nothing left to do tonight. The lake is listening. The village is quiet, and sleep is very near. The night moved slowly around the village, unhurried and kind. Inside her cottage, Ella slept deeply, her breathing steady and calm. The fire in the hearth settled into a soft glow, casting slow-moving shadows along the walls. Each rise and fall of her chest mirrored the rhythm of the world outside. Beyond the village, beyond the trees, the lake remained awake. Moonlight slid quietly across its surface. The hills stood still. The clearing held its breath, as if honoring the rest being taken within the cottages below. The lake listened. It listened to the earth cooling as night deepened. It listened to roots drinking in moisture. It listened to the distant call of night birds, their voices low and unhurried, and it listened to you. If you imagine yourself now lying comfortably where you are, you may notice how your body feels heavier than before, supported, held. There is no effort required. The surface beneath you carries your weight easily. You might notice the sound of your own breathing, slow and even. Each breath arrives naturally, leaving just as gently. Somewhere far back in memory, the idea of the lake begins to settle. You may not see it clearly anymore, and that is perfectly fine. You do not need images. You do not need thoughts. You can simply rest in the feeling of being listened to. The villagers believed that even when no one sat at the lake's edge, it still listened. That it listened for the quiet needs that had not yet found words. That it held space for rest itself. As the night wore on, a light mist began to rise from the water. It hovered just above the surface, thin and silvery, drifting slowly like breath on a cold evening. The lake did not disturb it. It allowed it to be. Hours passed without being counted. If your thoughts wander now, let them. If they fade, let them fade. There is no right way to listen to a story meant for sleep. You can take only what you need and leave the rest behind. Ella stirred slightly in her sleep, turning onto her side. A sense of ease settled deeper into her body. Whatever had weighed on her earlier had softened, loosened, slipped quietly away. The lake had received it. As dawn slowly approached, the stars dimmed one by one. The sky lightened almost imperceptibly. The lake reflected this change without comment, without resistance. It had done its work. When morning finally arrived, it did so gently. Light touched the hills first, then the treetops, then the village rooftops. Birds began their soft calls, not loud enough to wake, only enough to remind the world that time was moving again. Ella slept on, and if you are still awake, you might notice that same softness in yourself, a sense that sleep is either already here or very close. You do not need to chase it, like the lake. It arrives when invited. Perhaps your hands feel warm now, or your feet. Perhaps your jaw has relaxed without you noticing. These small signs are your body saying thank you. The story does not need to end sharply. It can simply slow. The lake remains, listening, holding, letting go, and you can rest. Morning did not arrive all at once. It eases in slowly, the way sleep eases in at night. Light filtered through the village in pale layers, touching stone walls, wooden doors, and quiet paths that had known many footsteps, now resting again. Ella remained asleep as the world brightened. Her dreams were soft and indistinct, more like feelings than images. A sense of being safe, of being held, of not needing to hurry. The hearth had cooled to a gentle warmth. The last embers glowed faintly, breathing out heat that lingered in the room. The air smelled of ash and morning wood. Beyond the cottage, the hills stood just as they always had. The path that led to the lake lay empty, waiting without expectation. The lake itself rested beneath the lightning sky. Mist lifted slowly from its surface, rising and thinning until it became part of the air. The water remained calm, reflecting the pale blue above it. Nothing disturbed it, nothing needed to. The lake listened. It listened to the earth waking gently, to insects stirring beneath leaves, to birds calling softly from branch to branch. It listened to the village stretching itself awake, doors opening, footsteps beginning again. And it listened to the quiet spaces where sleep still lingered. If you notice that your thoughts have become slower now, that is natural. The mind often follows the body into rest, step by step. You may feel as though you are drifting, not quite asleep, not quite awake. This is a peaceful place to be. You do not need to hold on to the story anymore. You can let it move around you, like air or water, present without effort. Ella slept until the light found her naturally. When she finally stirred, it was without urgency. She opened her eyes slowly, blinking against the soft glow filling the room. For a moment, she lay still, listening. She listened to the quiet hum of the morning, to her own steady breathing. The feeling of rest settled deep within her. The lake felt close, even now. Ella rose from her bed and moved through her cottage with ease. Each step felt unhurried. The day did not rush her, it waited. She knew she would return to the lake again someday, not because she needed to, but because it would always be there, listening, and knowing that was enough. As this story continues to slow, you may feel less connected to the words themselves. That is perfectly fine. You can let the sound of my voice fade into the background. You can let sleep take over. Nothing important will be missed. The lake remains. The hills remain. The village carries on gently, and you are allowed to rest as long as you need. If sleep has already found you, then the story will simply continue without you, quietly, patiently, just like the lake. The morning stretched slowly across the village, softening every edge with light that felt almost liquid. Windows caught the first rays and held them gently, spilling warmth across walls and floors. Doors creaked lightly as the day began, though the sound was tender, unobtrusive, like a whisper meant only for those who were listening. Outside, the path leading to the hills lay empty, dew clinging to grass, shimmering faintly in the pale sunlight. It was a quiet world, a world that had time on its side, where every sound and movement seemed slowed and careful. Ella moved through her cottage in the lingering calm. She let her fingers trace along the edges of furniture, feeling the wood under her skin. The fire in the hearth was only a memory now. The warmth, soft but lingering, curling around her like a gentle hug. She paused by the window, breathing in the cool morning air. It carried with it a hint of earth and pine, the promise of hills waiting patiently beyond the village. She did not rush. There was nowhere she needed to be. There was no schedule pressing upon her. The world existed only in this moment, quiet and unhurried. When Ella finally made her way outside, the sun had risen slightly higher, brushing the stone path with soft, golden light. Each step she took on the dew-slick grass was slow and deliberate. The sounds of the village were distant now, soft murmurs that floated on the breeze. Birds called intermittently, their voices low and melodic, blending with the gentle rustle of leaves. The trees leaned slightly, as if bowing to her passage. Every element of the landscape seemed aware, alive, yet patient and still. The path wound gently upward toward the hills, winding between clusters of wildflowers and soft grass. The air was cool but not cold, caressing her skin and moving with her. Ella noticed the small details, the curve of a stone, the quiet buzz of an insect, the way the sunlight fell in dappled patches across the earth. Each observation was gentle, a whisper from the world inviting her to move slowly, to notice, to be present without effort. At last, the clearing opened, revealing the lake. Its surface was smooth and dark, reflecting the sky above like a polished mirror. The moon had faded entirely, replaced by a pale morning glow that softened every edge. The lake did not shimmer or demand attention. It did not make a sound. It simply existed, calm and patient. Ella approached the edge, her feet brushing against cool stones. She sat down slowly, letting the weight of her body sink into the earth beneath her. She could feel the faint vibration of the world around her, the soft whisper of the wind, the gentle heartbeat of the village below, the pulse of life in the hills themselves. And then she breathed in, out. The lake received each breath. It received her presence. It received every small thought, every fragment of memory, every tension that had settled into her muscles over time. And it held them all without judgment, without interruption. She leaned back slightly, allowing her arms to rest at her sides. Her eyes traced the movement of the water, noticing the smallest ripples that reflected the faint breeze. There was no urgency in the ripples. They moved slowly, dissolving outward in gentle waves that mirrored the rhythm of her own body. As she watched, a sense of timelessness settled over her. Moments stretched, elongated, and melted into one another. The lake's stillness became part of her own. Her thoughts no longer clamored for attention. They simply floated, dissolving quietly into the space around her. You might imagine yourself here now, sitting or lying in comfort, your own body slowly sinking into rest. Feel the weight of your limbs pressing gently into the surface beneath you. Notice how your chest rises and falls with each breath, steady, calm, predictable. The world around you exists softly, without demand, without expectation. A soft breeze moves through the clearing. It carries the scent of damp earth and leaves, faintly sweet, faintly mossy. It brushes against your skin with a gentle, constant rhythm, like a slow, tender hand moving across your shoulders. You notice how easy it is to relax into it, how effortless it feels to let yourself be carried by the stillness of the air. The lake, dark and patient, reflects the morning light in muted streaks, colors blending together in quiet harmony. Every ripple, every flicker of shadow, every soft touch of wind against the water is part of the same rhythm, slow, gentle, calming. Ella closes her eyes for a moment, letting the sensations fill her completely. The warmth of the rising sun brushes her skin. The coolness of the stones beneath her hands anchors her body. The breeze whispers in her ears. And beneath it all, the lake listens, steady and unwavering. She imagines all the small worries, all the burdens, all the thoughts that had been lingering in the corners of her mind. She imagines them being received by the lake, absorbed without a trace, dissolving gently into the water and disappearing. There is no rush. There is no pressure, just the quiet, comforting knowledge that they can be let go. Now, imagine the lake stretching wider than you can see, embracing the hills around it, the path leading to the village, the fields beyond. It has held the weight of countless souls before Ella, and it will continue to hold it quietly, patiently, without expectation. And now it holds yours as well. Your breathing slows even further. Your body sinks more deeply, and a sense of profound calm spreads through every muscle, every joint, every part of your being. You are resting. You are safe. You are exactly where you need to be. The gentle sounds of the forest and the distant village continue around you. A bird calls softly somewhere in the distance. A leaf drifts down, brushing the water's surface. A faint ripple moves across the lake. Nothing interrupts the calm. Nothing demands attention. The world is patient, and so are you. Ella lies back on the stone now, letting herself fully merge with the moment. Her arms rest at her sides. Her legs stretch comfortably. She feels the warmth of the sun, the cool of the stones, the whisper of the wind. And she feels sleep pressing in slowly, sweetly, steadily, like the tide returning to the shore. And as you imagine this, feel it too. Let yourself become part of the calm, part of the listening. Feel your mind release, your body soften, your thoughts dissolve. You are held here in quiet, in gentle stillness. The lake, the hills, the sky, they all welcome you without question. Ella remained by the lake, letting the morning sun brush across her face and shoulders. Its light was soft, diffused, gentle, warming without urgency. The breeze moved slowly through the clearing, carrying faint scents of pine and damp earth. Every inhale brought that cool, fresh air into her lungs. Every exhale released tension she had been holding without even realizing it. The lake was perfectly still. Its surface mirrored the sky in a way that seemed endless. Clouds drifted lazily above, pale and soft, and their reflections moved on the water in slow, unhurried motion. Nothing here demanded her attention. Nothing required her energy. She could simply exist in the quiet harmony around her. Ella shifted slightly, leaning back on her hands, feeling the smooth stone beneath her. It was solid, supportive, grounding. She could sense the warmth of the sun through the stone, a gentle radiance that mingled with the coolness of the morning air. Everything balanced itself perfectly, and she felt that balance seep into her own body. A bird called in the distance, low and melodic, its song rolling softly across the hills. Another answered far off, and a faint harmony arose, delicate and slow, joining with the rustle of leaves overhead. Even the insects seemed to move deliberately, aware of the stillness and not disturbing it. You might imagine yourself here as well, lying or sitting comfortably, letting your body sink deeper into the surface beneath you. Notice how your breathing flows naturally, in rhythm with the world around you. Feel the weight of your limbs pressing gently into whatever supports you. Let the gentle hum of the environment lull your mind. Ella closed her eyes for a moment, letting the sensations deepen. The breeze brushed against her cheeks. The sun's warmth spread across her back. The faint ripple of water touched the stones beneath her fingers, and the lake, calm and infinite, received it all, just as it had always received the thoughts, the worries, the quiet hum of countless lives. She thought of all the people who had sat at this lake before her. She did not know their names or their stories, but she felt their presence in the calm. Each had left behind only what needed to be released, and the lake had held it patiently. Ella breathed slowly, deeply, letting her body relax further with each inhalation and exhalation. The morning continued around her, soft and tender. She felt the coolness of the grass beneath her hands, the warmth of the sunlight, and the subtle scent of the earth rising from the damp stones. Each of these sensations was gentle, nurturing, almost imperceptible, yet grounding her completely in the moment. Time was irrelevant here. Minutes and hours no longer mattered. All that existed was the lake, the hills, the sky, the breeze, and her own steady, calm presence. As the morning drifted on, the lake remained, always listening, not judging, not correcting, simply holding space for whatever needed to rest there. Ella felt a profound sense of peace, as though she had arrived at a place she had been searching for all her life, without even knowing she was looking. Her eyes opened again, slowly, tracing the delicate ripples of the water. A single fish broke the surface for a brief moment, then disappeared. The lake returned immediately to its unbroken stillness. Ella noticed how the reflection of the sky changed ever so slightly with the movement of the clouds. She smiled faintly at the quiet beauty, letting her mind rest on nothing more complicated than light and water, wind and stone. You may imagine the lake now as well, endless and calm, a mirror of peace. Let your own body feel the same steady rhythm. Let your mind float gently with it, untethered, weightless. The world can wait. You do not need to think or act. You can simply rest. Ella breathed in deeply. She let it fill her completely. Then she breathed out slowly, releasing any last bits of tension. She felt lighter, calmer, more present in her own body than she had in days, weeks, or even months. And if you imagine yourself in her place, you may feel that same calm, that same gentle sinking into quiet and stillness. Every breath carries you deeper. Every heartbeat reassures you that you are safe, supported, and exactly where you are meant to be. The lake shimmered faintly as a soft wind touched its surface. Nothing disturbed it. The hills stood motionless in the background, serene and unchanging. The sun climbed higher, but it did not press or demand. Everything existed in gentle harmony. Ella lay back fully now, her body pressing into the warm stone and soft grass. She felt the wind moving across her face. She felt the weight of the world fall softly away. She felt the lake holding all the quiet, all the rest, all the stillness around her. And so she drifted, not in a hurry, not with expectation, simply drifting. Your own body may now be drifting too, slowly, calmly, effortlessly. The world outside this moment may continue, but it cannot touch the stillness you feel here. Each gentle sound, the breeze, the rustle of leaves, the soft call of a distant bird supports this calm. Each breath reinforces the peace within you. Each heartbeat reassures you that you are safe, you are steady, and you may rest fully. The sun moved slowly across the sky, painting the world with soft, golden hues. The morning had unfolded quietly, and now the day seemed to settle into a gentle rhythm. The breeze shifted slightly, carrying a faint warmth that contrasted with the coolness of the stones beneath Ela. She remained at the lake's edge, letting herself be carried by the slow flow of time, unmeasured and unhurried. The lake reflected the shifting light, the colors blending seamlessly across the water's surface. Shadows from the surrounding trees stretched long and soft, creating shapes that seemed to breathe gently with the movement of the leaves. Every detail, though small and subtle, invited Ella to notice, to rest in the quiet beauty, and to allow herself to become part of the scene without effort. She shifted slightly, settling back against the stone, and let her eyes drift closed. She could feel the air brushing her skin, faintly warm in some places, faintly cool in others. The gentle hum of life around Hertha, whisper of grass, the soft movement of birds, the occasional call of distant creatures created a quiet symphony, a symphony that existed for no one in particular, yet embraced anyone who wished to listen. Ella breathed in slowly, feeling her lungs expand fully. She breathed out just as deliberately, releasing every last bit of tension. Her body was soft, relaxed, and aware of its connection to the stones, the grass, the air, and the lake itself. Each exhale carried her a little deeper into calm. The lake waited, always patient, always still, always listening. As the day drifted further, clouds began to gather lightly, casting pale shadows across the water. They moved lazily, curling and stretching, as if taking their own time to cross the sky. Ella watched them without expectation, without need. Their movement was gentle and unhurried, a perfect echo of the calm she felt within herself. You may imagine yourself here as well, lying comfortably, your body sinking into rest, your breathing slow and steady. Notice how each part of you feels supported, your shoulders soften, your arms relax, your legs feel heavy, grounded, and warm. The gentle sounds of the world around you carry no urgency, only softness, only calm. A small fish broke the surface of the lake briefly, creating a tiny ripple that faded almost before it appeared. Ella's gaze followed it for a moment, and then she allowed herself to look away, letting her eyes close once more. The ripple, like all things, was part of the quiet rhythm, part of the gentle unfolding of time. She remembered, faintly, the first time she had come here as a child, guided by her mother's hand. That memory was soft and comforting now, a warm light in the quiet. She felt gratitude, though not in any hurried or urgent way, simply the kind that exists naturally when one recognizes something precious. If you notice gratitude or a gentle warmth spreading through yourself now, that is perfectly fine. Let it move slowly, softly, without forcing or naming it. Let it float freely, like leaves drifting on the surface of the lake. Ella shifted again, turning slightly to lean on her side. The cool stone pressed against her back, grounding her, while the sun's warmth touched her face. She felt the weight of the day release from her shoulders. She felt her thoughts dissolve into the quiet air around her. Each sound, the wind, the faint call of a bird, the soft rustle of leaves was a reminder that she was safe, that she was held, that she did not need to do anything except breathe and rest. Time became more fluid. Minutes melted into each other. Hours were no longer necessary to consider. Only the gentle pulse of the lake, the sway of the trees, the quiet movement of light across water thieves were enough. A subtle mist began to rise from the lake as the afternoon waned, curling across the surface in pale, silvery strands. It moved like slow breathing, delicate and rhythmic. Ella watched it for a moment, noticing how it caught the sunlight, and then closed her eyes, letting it wash over her senses. The mist became a veil of calm, connecting her to the lake, the hills, and the sky. Imagine this mist around yourself, soft and cool, touching your skin with gentle care. It carries away tension. It carries away lingering thoughts that no longer serve you tonight. It moves slowly, wrapping you in a protective embrace, leaving only calm and quiet. Ella's breathing continued to match the rhythm of the lake and the gentle sway of the world around her. Each inhale filled her with fresh air, soft and cool. Each exhale released weight, stress, and any remnants of the day. She felt a growing sense of lightness, as though she could float. Yet she remained anchored comfortably to the earth, supported completely by the stones and grass beneath her. The sun dipped lower, brushing the tops of the hills with a soft, golden glow. Shadows lengthened, moving slowly and gracefully across the clearing. The world felt timeless. The lake remained perfect, still, and listening. Ella felt herself sink further into the stone beneath her, into the grass beneath that, into the earth itself. She was aware of her body, yet her mind floated freely, untethered, light. She noticed her heartbeat, calm and steady, in perfect rhythm with the soft pulse of the world around her. And now, as the evening approaches, the first hints of twilight begin to color the sky. Soft purples and muted pinks blend with the pale gold that lingers from the sun. The lake reflects these colors in slow, subtle movements. A gentle wind brushes across the water, carrying the faint scent of pine, earth, and something unnameable, yet comforting. Ella lies back fully, letting her body stretch and relax. Her breathing is slow, her mind calm. Every muscle, every thought, every small tension has released. She is ready to drift deeper, carried by the rhythm of the lake, the hills, the air, the world. And if you feel your own body responding now, sinking deeper into rest, that is exactly as it should be. The story, the voice, and the lake itself exist only to support this calm. Nothing more is required of you. Twilight settled over the hills slowly, like a soft blanket being draped over the world. Colors faded from gold to pale lavender, then to muted blue, and the first stars began to peek shyly from the sky. The air cooled slightly, carrying the faint scent of evening dew and pine. Every sound softened, the rustle of leaves, the distant call of a night bird, the whisper of the breeze across the lake's surface. Ella remained by the water, lying on the stones, letting the coolness touch her back and the warmth of the day linger on her face. She breathed in slowly, feeling the fresh air fill her lungs. She breathed out, releasing anything left of the day's noise, any lingering tension, any thought that might have kept her from this calm. The lake mirrored the sky perfectly. As darkness deepened, the stars reflected softly in the water, twinkling faintly like tiny lanterns set gently on a glass surface. A single cloud drifted across the horizon, its reflection stretching slowly across the lake, elongating, softening, disappearing. Nothing was hurried, nothing required effort. You may imagine yourself here as well, lying comfortably, feeling your body sink into rest, feeling the air brush gently against your skin. Perhaps you feel a slight weightlessness, yet you are fully supported, fully safe. You are aware of the soft rhythm of your own breathing, slow and calm, in perfect harmony with the world around you. Ella closed her eyes fully now, feeling the lake's stillness embrace her. She imagined the water holding everything she needed to release. Every worry, every unneeded thought, every tiny it gently received and dissolved into the quiet depths. A faint breeze moved across the surface, creating the tiniest ripples. They spread outward in slow, measured patterns, almost imperceptible, each one fading into stillness again. Ella imagined her own thoughts as those ripples, spreading gently, then dissolving, leaving only calm in their place. The evening deepened, and the first crickets began to hum softly in the distance. Their steady, low rhythm was almost like a heartbeat, echoing the steady rhythm of Ella's own body. She noticed how her shoulders had loosened completely, how her legs felt heavy, how her hands rested with complete ease. The lake continued to listen, patient and unwavering. It held the air, the wind, the soft sounds of the night, and all the quiet needs of the world. And now it held Ella's presence too. Imagine this with your own body. Let the gentle rhythm of the lake, the wind, the crickets, the soft night air guide your breathing. Inhale slowly, feeling calm. Exhale fully, releasing every last bit of tension. You are safe. You are calm. You are exactly where you need to be. Ella shifted slightly, rolling onto her side, feeling the stone beneath her and the cool grass around her. She listened to the soft chorus of the night, to the subtle movement of the lake, to the whisper of the breeze through the trees. The world was not loud. It was gentle, patient, unhurried, and she was part of it. The stars above began to shine more clearly now. One by one they emerged, small points of light that mirrored the subtle twinkle on the water. The lake seemed to hold them gently, like reflections in a quiet dream. Ella felt a sense of connection, a soft acknowledgement that she was not alone, yet completely undisturbed, fully supported by the stillness around her. She lay back fully, letting her body spread out in complete relaxation. Her arms rested naturally at her sides, her legs stretched comfortably. She felt her heart beat steadily, matching the soft rhythm of the lake, the wind, the crickets. Each beat reassured her. Each breath carried her further into calm. Now the lake's edges seemed to blur into the night. The water, the hills, the sky, they all merged in quiet harmony. Nothing was separate. Everything was calm. Everything existed in slow, deliberate rest. And as you listen, you may notice the same gentle merging. Your mind and body begin to drift with the rhythm of the world. You do not need to hold on to anything except the stillness. You do not need to think. You can simply exist, softly, quietly, completely. The wind brushed lightly across Ella's face, and she felt it as if it were a soft hand, comforting and steady. She allowed herself to float in that feeling, letting the night embrace her completely. She was ready to rest fully now. And if you are here with her, lying or sitting comfortably, notice how your body follows the same pattern. Heavy, soft, relaxed. Breathing in slowly, breathing out completely. The world is gentle. The world is calm. And you are safe. Night fell fully over the hills now, soft and velvety, draping the world in quiet shadow. The lake mirrored the darkness of the sky above, broken only by the twinkle of stars, pale and distant. The air carried the faint scent of damp earth and pine, drifting softly across the clearing. Every sound was muted, gentle, as if the world itself was holding its breath. Ella remained at the lake's edge, lying fully against the cool stones. Her body had grown heavy with relaxation, each muscle soft, each thought dissolving into the stillness around her. Her breathing was steady, slow, a gentle rise and fall that echoed the subtle movements of the night. The water reflected the moonlight now, soft silver pooling across its surface. The moon hung low in the sky, casting pale light over the hills and trees. A faint mist hovered above the lake, curling and stretching like a slow, deliberate sigh. Ella watched it drift and fade, allowing herself to be drawn deeper into the calm it brought. The gentle hum of the night surrounded her, the faint chirping of crickets, the soft rustle of leaves in the breeze, the occasional call of a distant bird. Each sound blended seamlessly into the others, creating a quiet symphony that seemed to breathe along with her. You may imagine yourself here now, lying or sitting comfortably. Feel your body sink deeper into rest, supported fully by the surface beneath you. Notice your breathing, slow and even, perfectly in rhythm with the gentle pulse of the world around you. Every exhale releases tension. Every inhale fills you with calm. Ella closed her eyes, letting the cool night air brush across her face and arms. She imagined the lake holding everything she needed to release, all worries, all small tensions, all lingering thoughts. The water received them silently, gently, dissolving them into stillness. She felt lighter, freer, as though the night itself was cradling her in its arms. As she lay there, the stars above grew brighter, their reflections shimmering softly in the water. She noticed how the ripples from the breeze made each reflection dance gently, like tiny points of light floating on the surface. Ella smiled faintly at the quiet beauty, feeling a deep connection to the calmness surrounding her. The hills loomed silently, dark and protective, forming a gentle embrace around the clearing. The trees swayed slowly in the breeze, whispering in a language only the night could understand. Each movement was deliberate, unhurried, soothing. Ella felt the world breathing with her, a soft, endless rhythm that promised safety, comfort, and rest. Imagine yourself drifting in the same rhythm. Let each gentle movement of the world carry you further into calm. Let the soft touch of the night air, the subtle sounds, and the slow sway of the trees guide your breathing. Inhale gently, exhale fully. Feel your body sink, feel your mind float. The lake seemed infinite now, stretching beyond sight, reflecting stars, moonlight, and shadows alike. Its stillness was complete, patient, unwavering. Ella felt her own heartbeat sync with the quiet pulse of the water. Each beat was steady, reassuring. Each breath carried her further into rest. She rolled slightly onto her side, feeling the cool stones and soft grass beneath her. The breeze whispered against her skin, soft and constant, a reminder that the world was gentle, that it was patient, and that she was completely safe. As the night deepened further, a faint glow of fireflies appeared along the edges of the clearing. They moved slowly, lazily, creating tiny points of light that seemed to float in perfect harmony with the stars above. Ella watched them for a moment, letting the simple, slow motion bring a sense of wonder without demanding attention, without stirring her from calm. And now, if you are here, listening, you may begin to feel the same wonder in your body and mind. You may notice how your thoughts have slowed, how your muscles have softened, how your breath carries you deeper with every inhale and exhale. You are exactly where you need to be. You are resting fully, gently, completely. The lake held everything. The hills stood watch. The night whispered softly. And you, too, are held in stillness, in calm, in quiet. The night deepened further. The stars twinkled faintly, mirrored perfectly by the lake's still surface. The moon hung low, its pale light washing over the hills and trees, brushing everything with soft silver. A gentle mist hovered, curling in quiet spirals above the water. The world had slowed to a heartbeat, steady and calm. Ella lay fully on the stones, her body completely softened. Her arms rested loosely at her sides, her legs stretched comfortably, sinking into the earth beneath her. The lake listened. It always listened, holding every ripple of thought, every sigh of the body, every soft pulse of the mind. She breathed in slowly and breathed out completely, letting each breath carry her further into calm. The night whispered around her. Leaves rustled gently in the breeze. Crickets hummed softly. A distant owl called once, then fell silent again. Each sound was slow, deliberate, soothing. Nothing startled, nothing demanded, nothing rushed. Everything existed in gentle, perfect balance. Ella closed her eyes fully. She imagined the lake stretching endlessly, reflecting the night sky, the stars, the pale moonlight. It held everything: quiet, peace, stillness, command. Now it held her too. She felt herself dissolve into that calm, becoming part of the stillness itself. You may imagine yourself here as well, lying or sitting comfortably. Your body feels heavy, soft, fully supported. Your breath is slow, steady, gentle. Your thoughts float like tiny leaves on water, moving lazily, dissolving into the quiet. You are safe, you are calm, you are held. Fireflies drifted lazily around the clearing, tiny lanterns in the dark. Their soft glow mingled with the reflections on the lake. Ella felt her eyelids growing heavier, each blink slower than the last. Her body pressed more fully into the stone and grass, surrendering completely to rest. The moonlight traced gentle patterns across her skin. A soft breeze brushed her hair. The stars twinkled silently above, and the lake continued to listen, patient, unchanging, endless. Ella breathed in. She breathed out. She felt herself floating, just slightly, weightless, yet supported, cradled by the gentle rhythm of the world around her. She imagined every worry, every leftover thought drifting into the lake, dissolving completely into stillness. The night deepened further, and the lake reflected only calm, only quiet, only peace. Ella felt her body completely soften, every muscle letting go, every thought fading into the background. She was entirely present in the stillness, embraced by the quiet, held by the lake, by the hills, by the night. Now imagine yourself drifting with her. Your body is soft, your breath steady, your mind floating effortlessly. The gentle hum of the night, the subtle movements of the water, the slow flicker of fireflies, all guide you deeper, slower, further into rest. The lake seemed to stretch into infinity, a mirror of stars and sky, holding the quiet of the world in its calm embrace. Ella surrendered fully to that calm, letting herself drift into a dreamlike space where nothing existed except rest and gentle stillness. Your body follows naturally, sinking further into comfort. Your thoughts dissolve like mist over the water. Your breath continues in a soft, steady rhythm. You are safe. You are supported. You are completely at peace. And as the night carries on, the hills and the lake, the stars and the mist, the soft whispers of wind and crickets, all cradle you in quiet, gentle sleep. Your mind drifts, your body rests, and the world holds you perfectly and completely. Ella, the lake, and the night remain. You are there with her, in that gentle embrace, in that perfect stillness where nothing is needed except calm, quiet, and rest. And now you may drift fully into sleep. Your breath is soft, your body is heavy, your mind is quiet. The lake listens, the hills watch, the night hums softly, and you too rest. Sleep now. Dear listener, take a deep, slow breath and let your body settle comfortably. Feel the weight of your limbs supported, your shoulders soft, your hands resting gently. Allow your eyes to close if that feels natural. Tonight, we return to a quiet world, a place where calm and stillness exist without demand. Our story tonight begins at the lake once more, deep in the hills, just beyond Ella's village. The lake that listens has waited patiently, unchanged, ready to receive her return. The path from the village winds slowly through the trees, each step soft on the earth, each breeze brushing gently against her skin. You may imagine walking this path as well, feeling the cool air, hearing the faint rustle of leaves overhead, letting your own breath deepen and slow with each step. Ella returned often, some evenings with questions, some evenings with nothing at all. Each visit carried a quiet expectation of nothing, a gentle permission to simply exist. The lake reflected her arrival without disturbance, smooth and still, waiting only to hold her presence. Imagine now lying by the lake yourself, toes brushing cool grass, fingers grazing smooth stones. The air is soft against your skin. The water mirrors the sky above, pale and infinite. Nothing interrupts this space except gentle sensations. The slow pulse of your own calm heartbeat and the lake's unhurried rhythm. The villagers spoke of the lake's magic, not the kind that sparkles or shimmers, but the kind that settles into the bones, a deep, enduring calm. They said it carried the peace of everyone who had rested beside it, a quiet inheritance shared without words or expectation. Ella felt that peace seep into her, slowly, unconsciously, a steady warmth from her head to her toes. One evening, as she lay back on the grass, she noticed the lake seemed to breathe with her. When she inhaled, the surface lifted slightly, a gentle rise of water that mirrored the rise in her chest. When she exhaled, it smoothed again, soft and unbroken. She allowed herself to follow this rhythm, breathing with the lake, matching its calm pulse, letting her body and mind sink further into ease. You may imagine your own breath following this gentle wave. Inhale slowly as the lake lifts. Exhale fully as the surface smooths. With each breath, feel your body soften further. With each breath, allow your thoughts to dissolve quietly, like ripples fading back into still water. Ella watched the stars drift across the lake's surface. They shimmered faintly, reflected perfectly in the still water. The night seemed suspended, the passing hours unnoticed. Time and tomorrow felt far away. Only this moment existed, calm and whole. As you listen, you may imagine the same night sky above yourself. The stars twinkle softly, each one a gentle point of light. The air is cool, comforting. The lake's reflection moves only with your breathing. Let your body melt into the earth beneath you, supported, safe, and utterly relaxed. Eventually, Ella rose from the grass. She followed the soft, winding path back to the village. Lamps glowed warmly in the windows. Doors closed quietly behind sleeping families. And still, the lake remained calm and patient, holding her presence in its silent, listening heart. When she reached her own cottage, she entered quietly. The village slept, and so she slept too, carrying the lake's stillness within her, letting it seep into every bone and muscle, into every quiet corner of her mind. Tonight, as the story slows and softens, there is nothing left to follow. The lake listens, the village rests, and you too may rest fully, letting your body and mind sink into calm, complete, and untroubled. Sleep now. The next evening, Ella returned to the lake as twilight spread softly over the hills. The path from the village was familiar now, each step echoing memories of past visits. The earth beneath her feet was cool and soft, the grass brushing lightly against her ankles. Leaves rustled gently overhead, their sound like a quiet song, almost too soft to notice, yet calming to the ears. You may imagine yourself walking alongside her, feeling each footstep as a gentle rhythm, feeling the air brush against your skin, noticing the faint scent of evening dew and pine. Let your own breath follow this rhythm, slow and even, a soft rise and fall, matching the calm around you. The lake awaited her, as always. Its surface was perfectly still, a mirror reflecting the soft purples and muted blues of the twilight sky. It made no demand of her, no request, no suggestion. It simply existed, and in its existence, it offered peace. Ella settled on the grass by the water's edge, feeling the coolness beneath her and the faint warmth of lingering sunlight on her face. She noticed how the lake seemed to respond to her presence, its stillness embracing her, holding her in quiet understanding. She breathed in slowly, feeling the air fill her chest. She breathed out fully, letting her shoulders soften, letting her thoughts settle like dust on still water. The first stars appeared, pale and hesitant, twinkling faintly as if unsure of whether the lake could hold them. The lake did. Every reflection, every movement of light, every whisper of air was received gently, without judgment or effort. Ella allowed herself to drift with it, feeling her own body respond, relaxing further, sinking more deeply into the earth beneath her. Sometimes she brought questions with her, little worries or curiosities about the day or the world. Other times she brought nothing at all, only her presence. The lake received everything the same Wakem, patient, unshaken. There was no pressure, no expectation, just the quiet, enduring listening that filled the space between sky and water, between her and the earth. Imagine now, as you lie or sit comfortably, that you too are received by this quiet space. Each breath fills you with calm. Each breath out releases tension. The world fades to soft shadows and whispers. Your mind floats lazily, and your body feels supported completely. Ella lay back on the grass, her head resting lightly on the earth, her arms relaxed at her sides. She watched the stars drift across the water's surface, tracing their slow paths without hurry or need. The lake seemed to breathe with her again, lifting slightly as she inhaled, smoothing as she exhaled. She followed the rhythm, her body, mind, and breath all moving in gentle harmony with the water. As night deepened, a faint mist rose from the lake, curling and stretching slowly, drifting across the water in soft, deliberate patterns. Ella watched it move, feeling the mist as a gentle embrace on her skin. She imagined it carrying away any lingering thoughts, any worry, any heaviness, dissolving them into the quiet of the night. The hills around the lake stood silently, their dark forms protective and steady. Trees swayed gently in the breeze, whispering quietly, adding to the chorus of stillness. Crickets hummed in low, unhurried rhythm, each sound a gentle pulse that matched the lake's subtle breathing. Ella felt a growing sense of belonging, a quiet connection to the world, to the lake, to herself. You may imagine this now, feeling yourself sink further into calm. Each sound, each movement, each breath guides you deeper. Your thoughts drift like ripples across water, fading into stillness. Your body is heavy, soft, and completely supported. You are safe, you are calm, you are at peace. Eventually, Ella rose slowly, stretching gently as she left the water's edge. She followed the winding path back to the village. Lamps glowing softly in cottage windows, doors closing quietly behind sleeping families. The night air carried the faint scent of pine and earth, comforting and calm. When she returned to her own cottage, she stepped inside silently. The village slept, and Ella, carrying the lake's stillness within her, sank into her bed, breathing deeply, releasing completely, and letting the gentle calm of the lake fill every part of her being. Tonight, as this quiet story unfolds, there is nothing more to do. The lake listens, the village rests, and you may rest too, fully, deeply, completely, carried into calm by the stillness around you. The next evening, Ella returned to the lake as the sky softened into twilight once again. The air was cool, carrying the faint scent of damp grass and pine, brushing gently across her face. The path wound slowly through the trees, each step quiet, almost a whisper, letting the day's noise fall away behind her. You may imagine yourself walking this path with her. Feel the earth soft beneath your feet. Hear the leaves rustle above in a gentle rhythm. Notice how each step invites calm, how each breath matches the slow movement of the world around you. Let your mind soften, letting thoughts drift like clouds across a serene sky. Ella reached the lake and paused at the edge, taking in the quiet reflection of the evening sky. The water was still, a smooth glass that held the colors of twilight and the first stars emerging above. It did not shimmer or move without reason. It simply waited, patient and calm. She sat down, pressing her hands into the soft grass, feeling the faint coolness of the earth beneath her. She noticed how the lake seemed to respond to her presence, its stillness deepening as she settled into it. She breathed in slowly, drawing the cool evening air deep into her lungs. She breathed out fully, releasing the tension she had carried from the day. The first stars twinkled faintly above, mirrored perfectly on the lake's surface. Each reflection seemed to float just slightly, like tiny lanterns bobbing gently on still water. Ella allowed herself to watch them, her eyes soft, unfocused, letting her thoughts slow and fade with each passing moment. You may imagine yourself lying beside the lake, your body fully supported by the earth beneath you. Your breath flows in gentle, even rhythm, rising and falling in harmony with the calm of the water. Each exhale releases tension. Each inhale draws in peace. You are safe. You are calm. You are still. The lake held everything without judgment. Every sigh, every lingering thought, every small worry. It received them all, smoothing them into quiet ripples that faded and disappeared. Ella felt lighter with every breath, as though the night itself was carrying away anything she did not need. The hills around her were dark and protective, rising softly against the twilight sky. Trees swayed in the gentle evening breeze, their whispers slow and comforting. Crickets began their soft, steady hum, blending with the distant call of a night bird, creating a subtle, soothing rhythm that filled the space around her. Ella closed her eyes, letting herself sink fully into the moment. She imagined the lake breathing with her, rising and falling in quiet time with her chest. Inhale, the water lifts. Exhale, the water smooths. Each breath is slower than the last, deeper than the one before. Each movement of the lake mirrors the gentle stillness growing within her. The mist hovered lightly above the water, curling like slow ribbons, carrying with it a faint, cool touch against her skin. She felt the mist sweep over her shoulders and arms, a soft embrace that carried away the day's thoughts, dissolving them into the night. Fireflies appeared along the edges of the clearing, their small lights floating lazily in the gentle breeze. Ella watched them drift, unhurried, each one adding to the quiet magic of the night without demanding attention. Their glow reflected in the water, tiny sparks that seemed to wink in harmony with the stars above. You may imagine yourself drifting like those fireflies, weightless, carried by the gentle rhythm of the lake, the wind, the night. Every breath guides you deeper. Every sound lulls you further. Your body is soft, heavy, fully relaxed. Your mind floats effortlessly, drifting toward calm and rest. Eventually, Ella rose slowly, feeling the cool grass beneath her and the steady support of the earth. She followed the path back to her cottage. Lamps glowed softly in the windows of sleeping homes. Doors closed quietly behind families wrapped in warmth and calm. The village rested, silent and untroubled, and so did she, carrying the lake's stillness within her as she walked. When she reached her own door, she stepped inside gently, letting the calm of the evening seep into every corner of her being. She sank into her bed, breathing deeply, softly, completely. The lake's rhythm had become part of her own, a quiet pulse that guided her into complete relaxation. Tonight, there is nothing left to follow. The lake listens, the village sleeps, and you too may drift fully into rest, carried into sleep by the calm and stillness around you. Another evening came, and Ella returned to the lake. The sky was painted with the softest shades of pink and lavender, slowly giving way to deepening blues as twilight deepened. The air was cool and comforting, carrying the faint scent of pine and damp earth. Each step along the familiar path felt slower, more deliberate, as if the world itself was urging her to take her time. You may imagine walking this path with her. Feel the soft earth beneath your feet. Hear the leaves whispering above. Notice the gentle movement of the wind, carrying away tension, carrying in calmness. Allow your breath to match this rhythm, inhaling slowly, exhaling fully, letting your body relax further with every step. Ella reached the lake and paused at the edge. The water was still smooth and dark, reflecting the emerging stars above. The surface seemed to hold the world gently, as though it knew exactly how to receive her presence without judgment. She sat down on the soft grass, pressing her hands lightly into the earth, and felt the coolness beneath her. The lake seemed to breathe with her again. As she inhaled, the surface lifted just slightly. As she exhaled, it smoothed once more. She followed this rhythm, feeling it echo in her chest, her shoulders, her legs, every part of her body softening further with each breath. The first fireflies appeared along the edges of the lake, drifting lazily in the gentle breeze. Their tiny lights flickered softly, reflecting in the water and adding to the quiet magic of the evening. Ella watched them float and sway, unhurried, peaceful, letting her mind drift in sync with their gentle motion. The hills around the lake were dark and protective, rising silently against the night sky. Trees swayed slowly in the breeze, whispering soft songs that blended with the faint hum of crickets. Each sound, each movement was slow, deliberate, comforting. Ella felt herself blending with the rhythm of the world around her, a soft, steady pulse of calm flowing through her body. You may imagine yourself here now, lying beside the lake, supported completely by the earth beneath you. Your breath rises and falls with a gentle rhythm. Your thoughts float like clouds, slowly drifting across the sky of your mind, fading into quiet. You are safe. You are calm. You are still. Ella leaned back fully on the grass, arms relaxed at her sides, feeling the faint chill of evening air against her skin. The mist began to rise from the lake, curling and drifting softly above the water, carrying a sense of deep calm. She let it sweep over her shoulders and arms, letting it carry away the last traces of the day, leaving only stillness behind. The stars twinkled faintly above, mirrored in the lake's smooth surface. The reflections shimmered softly with every tiny ripple of the water, but the lake itself remained patient, calm, unshaken. Ella allowed herself to sink fully into that quiet rhythm, breathing slowly, evenly, letting every exhale release tension, every inhale draw in peace. Sometimes she whispered softly to the lake, though no reply was ever needed. The magic of the water did not speak in words, spoke in presence, in calm, in listening. It held her, and she allowed herself to be held, letting the stillness settle deep into her bones. You may imagine yourself drifting with her, weightless yet supported, each breath guiding you deeper into calm. The soft sounds of the night, the gentle movements of the water, the subtle shimmer of fireflies and stars all wrap around you like a gentle blanket. Let yourself melt into it, fully, completely. Eventually, Ella rose slowly from the grass, stretching gently, feeling the earth and night air hold her. She followed the soft path back toward her village, lamps glowing warmly in the windows of cottages, doors closing quietly behind sleeping families. The village rested, peaceful, undisturbed, and so did she, carrying the lake's stillness within her. Back in her cottage, she let the calm seep into every corner of her body and mind. She sank into her bed, letting the rhythm of the lake echo in her breath, in her heartbeat, in her muscles. She closed her eyes fully, allowing the night to cradle her in complete, untroubled rest. Tonight, as this quiet story unfolds, there is nothing more to do. The lake listens, the village sleeps, and you too may surrender fully, drifting completely into calm, into stillness, into sleep. One evening, the sky was painted with the faintest wash of lavender and silver as twilight settled over the hills. Ella walked the familiar path to the lake, each step slow and deliberate. The earth beneath her feet was soft, yielding, and cool, carrying the faint scent of pine needles and moist soil. The leaves whispered softly above her, their gentle rustle almost like a lullaby. You may imagine yourself walking alongside her, feeling each step as a calm rhythm, noticing the air brushing softly across your skin, hearing the world settle quietly around you. Let your breath follow this gentle rhythm, slow and even, inhaling calm, exhaling tension, allowing your body to soften further with every step. Ella reached the lake and paused, taking a deep, steady breath. The water lay perfectly still, reflecting the first stars emerging in the sky above. She could see herself in the smooth mirror of the surface, and yet the reflection felt different, somehow calm, serene, more peaceful than any mirror could ever hold. She sat on the grass at the water's edge, pressing her palms lightly into the earth, feeling the coolness beneath her, steadying her presence. The lake seemed to breathe with her again. As she inhaled, the surface lifted slightly. As she exhaled, it smoothed. She let herself sink into this rhythm, matching her breath with the gentle rise and fall of the water, feeling her body relax in response, feeling her thoughts dissolve into the night. Stars began to appear in greater numbers, faint glimmers against the deepening blue of the evening sky. Their reflections danced softly on the water's surface, tiny points of light moving like whispers. Fireflies emerged along the lake's edges, tiny lanterns drifting lazily in the gentle breeze, adding to the calm magic of the night. Ella leaned back fully on the soft grass, letting her body sink into the earth. The night air brushed against her arms and face, carrying the faint, soothing scent of pine, water, and dew. She closed her eyes and listened carefully. The soft rustle of leaves, the distant hum of crickets, the whisper of the breeze, all blending into a gentle, steady rhythm. You may imagine yourself lying beside her, fully supported by the earth. Each breath rises and falls slowly, matching the calm of the lake. Each exhale releases tension. Each inhale draws in stillness. Your mind floats like a leaf on the water, drifting gently, effortlessly into quiet. You are safe. You are calm. You are still. Sometimes Ella whispered softly to the lake, though no answer was needed. The magic of the lake did not speak in words, spoke in presence, in stillness, in listening, and that was enough. She let the calm of the water settle deep into her bones, letting it carry away any remaining stress, any lingering thoughts. The mist began to rise from the surface of the lake, curling in slow, deliberate spirals. It brushed lightly against her skin, a gentle caress, a reminder of the world's softness, of the night's patient embrace. She felt herself melt into the mist, into the grass, into the stillness, fully cradled by the quiet around her. The hills stood tall and dark around the lake, protective and steady, their shapes softened by the night. Trees swayed gently, whispering slow, soothing sounds that harmonized with the crickets' low hum. Ella felt connected to everything around her, part of the soft rhythm of the night, moving with it, breathing with it, resting with it. You may imagine yourself drifting in this rhythm as well, weightless yet supported, guided by the gentle pulse of the lake, the wind, and the stars. Your thoughts slow, your body softens. Your breath becomes the gentle tide that carries you deeper into calm. Eventually, Ella rose from the grass, stretching slowly, feeling the cool night air on her skin and the steady support of the earth beneath her. She followed the path back to her village. Lamps glowed softly in the windows. Doors closed quietly behind families asleep in their beds. The village was at peace, and she carried the lake's calm with her, a quiet heartbeat echoing through her own body. Back in her cottage, she sank into her bed. The calm of the lake followed her like a gentle tide, weaving into her breath, into her heartbeat, into the soft weight of her body against the mattress. She let herself drift fully into rest, guided by the night, by the lake, by the gentle rhythm she now carried within her. Tonight, there is nothing left to do. The lake listens, the village sleeps, and you too may surrender completely, letting the calm and stillness wrap around you, carrying you gently into deep, peaceful sleep. Another evening, soft and quiet, unfolded as Ella made her way once more to the lake. The sky above was a deepening blue, fading into velvety darkness as the first stars began to twinkle faintly. The path through the trees was gentle, winding, and familiar. Each step felt soft beneath her feet, almost like the earth itself was welcoming her, encouraging her to move slowly, deliberately into calm. You may imagine yourself walking beside her, feeling the soft earth beneath your feet, noticing the faint rustle of leaves overhead, the cool touch of evening air against your skin. Let your breath match this rhythm, in and out, slow and even, letting tension fade from your body with each exhale. Ella arrived at the lake and paused at the edge. The water lay perfectly still, smooth and dark, reflecting the stars and the pale glow of the moon above. It did not shimmer, it did not demand. It simply existed, quietly, patiently, as it always had, offering its calm presence. She sat on the grass at the water's edge, pressing her hands gently into the soft earth, feeling the cool, steady support beneath her. The lake seemed to breathe with her again. As she inhaled, the surface lifted slightly, just enough to notice. As she exhaled, it smoothed again, unbroken and calm. She followed this rhythm, letting her chest rise and fall in sync with the water, feeling her body release tension, her mind release thought, her entire being sink into quiet. Above, the first stars reflected in the lake's surface. Their light was soft, gentle, steady. Fireflies drifted along the edges of the clearing, tiny sparks of light moving lazily without hurry. Each flicker, each glow was a whisper of calm, a gentle signal for rest. Ella watched them float and sway, letting her eyes soften, letting her mind drift in time with their gentle movement. The hills around her were dark and still, rising softly against the night sky, protective and silent. Trees swayed in the gentle breeze, whispering slowly, rhythmically. Crickets hummed quietly, a steady undercurrent of calm. Each sound, each movement, each subtle shift in the air guided her further into rest. You may imagine yourself lying beside the lake, fully supported, completely relaxed. Each breath rises and falls gently, following the rhythm of the lake. Each exhale releases tension. Each inhale draws in stillness. Your body softens, your mind quiets, your thoughts float away like leaves on water. You are safe, you are calm, you are at peace. Ella leaned back fully on the soft grass, arms loose at her sides, letting the mist rising from the lake curl slowly around her. It brushed against her skin like a soft caress, carrying away the weight of the day, leaving only stillness in its place. She felt herself dissolve slightly into the night, her body and mind moving into harmony with the rhythm of the lake and the surrounding hills. The stars above twinkled faintly, mirrored perfectly in the smooth water. Each reflection seemed to drift slightly, floating in quiet, and Ella allowed herself to drift with it, sinking deeper with every slow, steady breath. The gentle pulse of the lake, the whispering leaves, the subtle hum of the night owl wrapped around her like a soft blanket, holding her completely. Sometimes she whispered softly to the lake, though no reply was needed. Its magic did not speak in words. It existed in presence, in listening, in patience. Ella let the calm seep deeper into her bones, carrying away any leftover tension, any lingering thought, leaving only quiet and rest. Eventually, she rose slowly from the grass, stretching gently, feeling the cool night air and the steady earth beneath her. She followed the soft path back to the village, lamps glowing warmly in windows, doors closing quietly behind families at rest. The village slept, the world slowed, and she carried the lake's stillness within her. Back in her cottage, she sank into her bed, letting the calm follow her like a gentle tide. Every breath, every heartbeat echoed the lake's rhythm, deep and steady. She allowed herself to drift fully into sleep, guided by the gentle, unwavering stillness she now carried inside her. Tonight, there is nothing left to follow. The lake listens, the village rests, and you too may surrender completely, letting the soft stillness wrap around you, carrying you gently into deep, peaceful sleep.